Hello, hello, and welcome to a slightly sick Tristan. I almost called this fan battle cast in a cast ranking. Uh, I haven't done a video on one of these for a while, but I figured it'd be fun to kind of bring other people in and do like a live, interactive version of a cast ranking. I think I need to turn my audio up. I have two people with me here today. We got Zoro. I forgot to turn your audio on. Now they can hear you. Uh,
Hello.
and we have the always beautiful Santi Sherm.
Why, thank you. Why, thank you.
I don't know if you've seen, by the way, Sherm, in a lot of chatter about Nebula Theater, but for some reason people ship our characters. I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, I don't know why you're confused about it. I feel like it's fairly blatant subtext.
We're just nice to each other, and people are like, "Fuck already." I'm like, "No, this what? Stop
The internet has required far less before.
it."
To be fair, like Wiz and Boomstick have like a very antagonistic relationship, and people still do that with them. So like
That's
you
so
just
weird.
having a great nice relationship is just putting less barriers between that.
So we're gonna do something a little different because I found it fascinating. Where did it go? Where did my little thing go? Oh, here it is. I have a list of. We're gonna start with the instead of going one by one, going down the line like normal. I'm gonna start with the Death Battle cast like I did in my ranking videos. And but instead of just picking and ignoring the fan battlecast ones, I'm gonna pick them in order of least to most popular based on YouTube's metrics because I find that interesting. All right, so um, Death Battlecast had 17 cast between those 4 months, and the least popular one is the Pokemonkey Battle Royale.
Now,
I
this matchup is fun, but it is very clearly just kind of made because they want to do their Bananuary theme, and this was just one of the things they thought of.
By the way, I'm not
I
putting this in
almost
D.
am
It's just
certain
here
this
for
is
now.
the
All right.
pre-existing matchup.
This is gonna become
Yeah.
immediately outdated because isn't there a cast today? Yeah, but it's not April anymore. It is now May. So when we go back to it, it'll be including the May casts. Um, is this good though?
I mean,
Like,
I think Pokemon Battle Royales are kind of fundamentally solid to a certain degree because there's always a little bit of debate, but it's not like. I think Pokemon Inverse is a lot more interesting than doing something like Goku versus Vegeta, where like it depends a lot more on like their specific stats and moves. So Pokemon
Yeah.
battles are already inherently kind of interesting, so it's not bad, but it's just kind of like, why would I want these Pokemon in particular?
Yeah, like I mean, it's a cool concept, and like it is an interesting debate. But as far there are like over 1,000 different Pokemon, like there are a lot more interesting Royale concepts to tackle outside of four monkeys. Beside that, there are a lot more monkey Pokemon than on here, so I don't know why these four are getting the special treatment.
I will say when I wrote down what my initial ranking would be beforehand after watching the cast, right? Because I knew we were gonna do this, and I put it in C. Um, I think it's more interesting than a starter royale, just because it's not just like your fire versus water versus grass. They got like a little bit more variety in there. I don't know how they distinguish between monkeys and apes because I think there's a mix of those in here.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Annihilate and Rillaboom aren't even monkeys.
yeah. The way the cast made it seem is that Annihilate would just fucking destroy, right?
I mean, that's not
What
the impression I got.
what was yours?
From my, I mean, well, as I was listening to the cast podcast style, the impression I got was Rillaboom would win because he was arbitrarily the only one allowed Gigantamax, which makes zero sense because if you're giving it to one, they would all be in Galar and would thus have the ability to Gigantamax. But I guess if you're gonna just restricted to only Rillaboom for some reason. He has like he just gets a clear stat advantage that the others don't have and could just kind of win.
All right. I'm gonna be a nitpicky butt here. Technically, Rillaboom is the only one with a Gigantamax form. The rest would be given Dynamax.
I mean, yes, but does that really change much?
No, I'm a nerd and I had to correct you.
Actually, wait, no. Ambipom is the one who wins because Liam was the only one that brought up actual scaling.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, wow. That's hilarious.
Leo wins
So
again.
everyone else was talking about the gameplay statistics for why they would win, and Liam was like, so in the movie, Ambipom's one of the Pokemon that fights against Dialga's Roar of Time. So, GG's. Which is a very funny argument, because no one else has direct feats against. Ambipom is one of the best arguments for Creation Trio scaling.
That's fucking crazy.
I hate that so much.
How are you guys feeling in terms of placement?
I feel like it's like a solid, like, middle of the road. I'd probably put like a C+. It's like good, but it's not great.
I mean, I'm actually leaning towards like just regular C. Like, it's fine, but like it's middle of the road. Like, I am completely neutral on this.
All right. So we'll keep it in C because me and Zoris at C. Next up we got. Wow, the biggest problem with doing this is finding the matchup I'm supposed to be talking about. Give me an entire Homura versus Karumi. This one was quite a bit more popular, but still kind of like the lowest ends for them. And I'm kind of surprised because I felt like this matchup was really big. I think
was this the one with? Actually, I probably shouldn't bring that up.
With the body pillow, yes, we could just say it. It was the one.
Okay, yeah. That's probably what turned a lot of people off from tuning in on this one was the pitch.
I will say
what
it is a good matchup though. Like it is really interesting.
Oh yeah.
How their time powers like interact with each other.
Oh yeah, like I think it's a good matchup. I wasn't using that as a knock against it. I'm just saying like for a lot of people the way it was presented was not the best, so I don't blame them for having a skewed perception on it. But yeah the matchup itself is pretty solid.
I think the more realistic reason why it wasn't popular is just because Data Live is just a more niche anime than a lot of Hamura's other options.
Fair.
That's true. Not a lot of people talk about it. But I will
say, as far as matchups go, this is like either my favorite or second favorite Hamura option, depending on the day. I think it's very cool. And I think the cast did a great job kind of exploring the dynamic.
Yeah, it did. The whole idea of how Homura travels and kind of leaps through time with her different like guns and equipment compared to Kurumi's time manipulating guns that she can use on others and herself. I think that's a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know who wins, but I was actually going to put this in A because I think it's a very good matchup.
I'd go B+. I think it's a very, very solid matchup.
I'm stuck between A- or B+. I'm gonna lean B+ just because I'm not familiar with Data Live. But if I was more familiar with it, I could easily be swayed into putting it in A.
That's fair. This one is going to be very interesting just because of our show. Phoenix versus Makoto is next.
I love this one as a matchup, even though there are acknowledgeable flaws you'd have to confront it to make it work.
There's a lot of... This is one of the ones where I think it works a lot better as a crossover than a Versus episode, because trying to get it... What would the fight be exactly? Just in a courtroom? Also, I hate this fucking thumbnail. It looks like Kirigiri is grabbing his crotch. Anyway. I don't know. I don't know how you can make it work.
I think if I was to see some YouTube video that was like 30 minutes, that was like, ooh, would better defend you if your life depended on it, Phoenix Wright or Makoto. And like they're just comparing who was better at their job. I'd be interested in that comparison. It's tricky though when we have to make it like an actual like live competition between the two, because then it's not just who's better. Now it's like, well, how do they compete in a contest against each other? It's weird.
Yeah. They're not really fighters, although I've seen Phoenix pull some moves in MVC3. I'm gonna
True.
put this. If it were me, I'd put it in C minus. If somebody can tell me how it works, I could probably put it above. But even in the debate, I was kind of just like, how? Why? Huh? You'd have to research
think
who's
the
a better
character-
debater?
I mean, that would be like a fun way to analyze it. I think the problem is when it comes to either a Nebula Theater episode or a Death Battle episode, I couldn't conceptualize how to write that fight, quote unquote, in a compelling way.
In 3 minutes. Or 3 to 4.
That is also true, because like the average trial for each series can last like a half an hour long, and we'd have to get all of that within 3 minutes.
A half
To
an
be
hour
devil's
is
advocate,
generous.
With Danganronpa and Ace Attorney style graphics, it wouldn't be as labor intensive as making like a normal fight animation.
No, that's
So
wrong.
if we have like the sprites for
No!
Ace Attorney and Danganronpa, we could make it much longer than a normal fight, because it would just be a lot of text for the most part.
That's fair.
Oh, that is true.
Somebody said, are we going to see Kumagawa in Nebula Theater? If you're talking about the Medaka Box character, I know him. I don't know any matchups for him, though.
So I'd honestly give this like a D, if I'm being honest, at least from my perspective.
I'd give it at least a C plus, just because I like it, and like it's like that one Tetris piece. As soon as I can figure out how to make the Tetris piece fit, it like jumps up in quality.
Up next, it was actually tied with this one, is Chocobo versus Yoshi. I like this one a bit. I think it's silly fun. Although you do kind of have to composite Chocobo and Yoshi. I don't know how people feel about that. But I like it.
I mean, I take it like how you'd handle like a Pokemon. Like you're taking like a prime example of their species, and I think for something like this, where like they just have a lot of appearances, like if it was like multiple different versions of like specific ones where they had their own fleshed out characters, I'd have more of a problem. But like if we're just looking at the concept of like both of them as like a writable species that help out the heroes, then I think it's fine for this one.
I think it works. I think it's very fun. The fact that they both can drive carts is very funny. I think Chocobo probably scales higher than Yoshi. No, because they say Yoshi is like star level for making the constellation. So they both scale
I think
pretty
the cast
highly.
had them both at like universal to higher.
Did it? That's fucking crazy. Chocobo has some crazy appearances.
Yeah.
If we were gonna rank these, this would probably be close to the top of my list, like in a general ranking video, because I think this is so fun.
Like I'm leaning towards like an A minus for this one. This is just a really fun idea, and I think it's my preferred for both.
I'm waiting.
I think I might just abstain from the voting, because I think this is an ideal that it seems perfectly fine, but just doesn't interest me in particular. But I don't want to rank it lowly just because I myself am not interested in it. Because clearly it's a fine matchup that makes a lot of sense. It's just, not my thing.
Yeah, I hear you.
What did you say, Zoran?
I said A minus.
I'm fine with that one. Right after that, you guys will have to have more input because I don't know who Kylith is. Really, I watched the cast, but I was they didn't really go over a lot. A lot of the cast was just trying to discuss how you would even scale Freerun.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Is one of the player characters from Campaign 1 of Critical Role. Thematically, This makes a lot of sense. I think it's just a stomp debate-wise.
Stomp in which way? I've never seen Fearin.
So, Keyleth, at a very low estimate should have like mountain level magic, and you can scale that way higher depending on the arguments, because she is like a level 20 D&D character.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
has a lot of good arguments for scaling absurdly high. Frieren gets like down level if you're generous.
Ah, I see.
So it's like the massive lowball for Keyleth is massively stronger than Frieren.
Yeah. So yeah, this is definitely one of my options that I like for Fearin. I also like Cheeky for Fearin, but I'm constantly like going back on these two.
Kind of hot take.
I
Doesn't
think
Frieren lose
Frieren-
all of her matchups? Probably. At least at this point.
more or less, Frieren does not scale all that high. in this
She's
tournament.
powerful for her world, but that doesn't really mean anything when you go against Tiki, who's like going against people who are bombing continents.
I think Frieren would beat Homelander.
I don't know. Didn't he just get a
Who
buff?
doesn't beat Homelander these days?
We don't know what the buff he got is, so
Okay.
we'll have to wait till the next episode to see if he like cuts the moon in half with his laser vision or whatever's about to happen.
What? Where would you place this? I'll go off you.
It's like a perfectly solid option for Frieren. I know Croat, who's like my go-to Frieren guy, thinks it's like a solid option. I'd say it's like, I'm kind of feeling like maybe a C plus to C-ish.
I don't want to go that low. I think it's like I guess that's kind of how we. Like, I think there's definitely a bit more going on. I'm leaning more like B minus area.
I'm gonna say
I still
B
change my
minus
answer
is
to
a
B
no.
minus.
Yeah.
Yeah, like because there's more good than bad, but like it doesn't particularly stand out as like a perfect matchup, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right next is a very controversial matchup. Gorilla
Ooh, my
Grodd
favorite.
versus Mojo Jojo.
I am not partial to this one.
Like, on the surface, I like it because like two ape-like creatures wanting to take over the world. It looks fine on paper, but when you look more into their characters, their tones, both of them have spreads where they have more fitting opponents than if you just throw them together. So, like, and I don't want to like compare this to like their other opponents because that's kind of like I wanted this matchup to stand on its own merits, but it's kind of hard to advocate for this one, knowing that both have like opponents that better suit their kind of overall tone and characters.
Even taking that away, it kind of just seems like, based on the debate they had, the biggest factor was that Mojo may have like crazy stats with certain things, but that Gorilla Grodd comparing to Flash is just crazy, and that his mind control would just like, even if Mojo tried to make an army or whatever, Grodd's mind control is so potent that he would just kind of take control of everyone every time.
Yeah.
All right, so the debate's not even interesting.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think. Okay, so first off, I don't like this matchup, but to play devil's advocate, I think that the way Death Battle was talking about it and the way they were having fun with it, if Death Battle chose to do this, I think they would make a very fun episode with a very fun script. But I think looking at it as a matchup, I don't think I like the tone disparity, and the debate is kind of interesting to see like which of Mojo's hacks Grodd would resist and which one he would not resist, which is always a little fun, even if it's a stat stomp. But I do think it is just like a stat and hack stomp where like his mind hacks Mojo doesn't have an answer for, and his speed and strength is gonna be better than 99% of what Mojo's packing. So it's just a Grodd W fairly easily.
Yeah.
I'd put it in D.
I'm honestly kind of feeling like, yeah, D.
Yeah, I won't argue against that. That seems like a good place. Like, it definitely has merits. It's not the worst, but it's not. There are a lot better options.
Next up is this one kind of got a sleeper hit. Nappa versus Goldar. People actually really like this one after the cast.
What was Gold? Where's Goldar from again?
I believe
Is
Power
that
Rangers.
Transformers? Oh, all right.
So this is a pretty fun sounding matchup to me.
I also agree. This sounds awesome. It's so silly.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Nappa, but this matchup actually gives him a perfect use for the Cybermen. Having the Cybermen fight off the Putty Patrol.
Throwers. Yeah.
So having a matchup that can actually capitalize on that is funny. Goldar is like a lot of other Rita minions. He's got like certain weapons, swords. He can fight hand to hand. Kind of like Nappa, he's super brutish and arrogant. And you can end the fight off with him turning giant. Or actually, can he do that without Rita? I don't know.
I mean, we would just give him the Zords.
My one of the questions I had with the cast, they talked a lot about how Goldar just came back from nothing. Like he was completely eviscerated and then just kind of came back, and I'm like, how the fuck? What? But that might have been Liam just being Liam and
That could just be like
extending.
Rita brought him back with magic or something. I don't know. Without further context, I mean, I can look up Goldar on Versus Battles Wiki and see if he has high tier god tier regeneration.
You know, if Goldar can like turn giant, that'd be a great like climax, especially if we let Nappa go great ape at the end as well. That just sounds like a really fun escalation.
That is fun. I think you just bumped this to an A for me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, like I won't argue against it. Like I want to learn more about Godar.
So Versus Battles Wiki is saying that his regeneration is only low to mid, where he regenerates from a blast through his chest, and he can kind of untwist his arm and fix his broken nose. I'm not seeing anything about coming back from non-existence, so I'm gonna say that probably had more context to it. But yeah, it's a pretty good matchup.
Are you fine in A?
I'm probably more of an A minus. I think this is a perfectly fun matchup. I don't know if I would call it like one of the best ever.
We got this one. I'm gonna just put in A plus if that's okay. Courier versus Mando.
Yeah, sure.
I think this matchup slaps. Oh wow, you wouldn't even give it an A plus. Do you not like it? Oh.
No. You say I don't like it, so I gave it an A.
Well, you went like as soon as I said something, you were like, eh. I'm like, whoa, what?
Well, I was just mean like I think it's certainly like a phenomenal, awesome matchup. I don't know if I would say it's like one of my favorite of all time, like in my top 50, but it's definitely very, very good.
I think the dynamic's really interesting. Do we know if in the cast was it decided upon that Mando was faster?
In the Death Battle cast or in our cast?
Death Battle cast. I think they said that Mando had higher stats, but they didn't. I thought they were saying that Mando had higher stats, but the Courier had a lot more tech and equipment.
Maybe it's hard to remember.
I came out the Death Battle cast thinking that Mando won. I came out the Fan Battles the cast thinking that Courier won. So do that as you will. I should also just drag this up here because it happened the same month. So
okay, but who has the better thumbnail though? We'll talk about that.
Of course, you guys. Are you kidding me? Look at this. This is not even a competition.
I will say their thumbnail is probably better for optics since it's much more clear what they are, whereas ours is more like sepia and easy to miss.
Yeah.
Sepia, that's a nice word. Up next, we got Nero versus Hellboy. AKA Hellboy Stomped.
Yeah, this one seems fun.
They essentially said that there are arguments that Hellboy can get to a similar or a lower end to Nero's potential uni scaling. But it really seems like he has 0 speed feats. So it's kind of like our Nightmare Skull Kid cast, where it's like, yeah, I can argue like potentially Star, Universal, whatever, but Nightmare is still the speed of a bullet. So
But you said Hellboy stuff. Oh, you're saying
I'm
Nero
comparing.
stomps Hellboy?
Nero stomps Hellboy, yeah.
According to the cast, I would say that's what they came to conclusion to. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Hellboy has like infinite speed arguments, but who am I to say? I'm no Hellboy expert.
I wonder if those are outliers. That's a popular word right now.
It's always a popular word in the verse.
I legit, despite me thinking that it's a stop, I legit would put it AA plus.
I think it's genuinely a really, really cool option for both.
I'm not really familiar with either, so I'll default to you guys on this one.
Play Devil May Cry, damn it! I will pay for a copy of Devil May Cry for you.
I guess if we were
All right.
asking me, I'd probably say like I'd probably put it at like an A minus.
I'm fine with that. It's a really solid matchup. Up next we have, again, I'm grabbing these in terms of popularity, if people didn't know. So like based on the metrics that people had. This one particularly makes me sad. Leon versus Jason.
I think this is a good example to show that sometimes a matchup is just interesting with like a very simple core premise, and even if it doesn't really go into either's character much more deeply than that.
Oh, so you like this?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I can see why this makes sense and why. I just think, like, I think it's worth noting that it very clearly got a lot of views and it's very popular.
That is true. It is the 8th most watched one, so.
I guess to say my 20 words or less, I think sometimes in the versus community we can get a little stuck into our own made-up rubric for what makes a matchup good without kind of taking a step back and being like, at the end of the day, we just want to see two cool guys fight, and that may be a cool animation and analysis.
And I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just-
Leon versus Jason.
For me, I just think this one doesn't really do much, personally. Because Jason just kind of like either tanks everything and kills Leon, or just gets obliterated with Leon's arsenal, and I don't really see. Like, Jason in this context is just kind of like any enemy in Resident Evil. He's not even really like anyone special. He's not going to be doing crazy shit. So he's just going to be a stalker guy that Leon fights off. Which could be fun, depending on how it's written, but I don't know. I can't get behind it. And I feel bad because fucking Aqua really likes this one, calling her out.
They didn't necessarily go into this, but like with the novel scaling, Jason has survived like nukes. So you could argue that Jason is just too durable for Leon to do anything to.
Well, what I'm saying is that it's not about like it's like what I'm saying. He either barrels through everything and kills Leon, or Leon just kills him with a shit ton of weapons. And there's really no like it's the dynamic that
I think you would portray this like any Resident Evil boss fight where Jason is way stronger and tougher. And Leon's trying to like whittle him down, but Leon's way more agile, is able to dodge a lot of the attacks.
But I feel like it's kind of interesting for versus animation.
I mean, I think like what it gives the opportunity to is it opens up a space for the fight to go on for a bit with Leon dodging and Jason tanking, and this would open the opportunity for them to use a lot of their kit very naturally. Like we'd have Leon strategizing around, trying to plan how to kill him, seeing which of his weapons works, and we have like a lot of Jason's more esoteric hacks taking hold, seeing if that works on Leon.
What's he gonna do to the Tommy gun though?
Walk through it.
Is that the one that has unlimited ammo? I can't remember. There's some special gun you get in Resident Evil where it's just a super stupid powerful gun. You get it for beating the game under certain conditions.
Oh, are you talking about like the Gatling gun? He has the T-1850 style minigun.
Yeah, that thing. Fucking
Planning
blown
on
to bits.
hiding forever. No.
Shit.
That's a good death battle at RoboCop versus Terminator. But yeah,
You know,
Jason,
you just convinced me this is A+.
Alright, there we go, A+. I think, like, if I'm being genuine, it's probably like I feel like C is a good place for it.
That's
Maybe
fine
C+.
with me.
Yeah, see.
In 7th place, we have Poochie versus Cyrus. I found this one funny, not knowing anything about Poochie before the cast, just to learn that he can't do anything to Cyrus, and I think that's very interesting.
I think there's a lot of very interesting dynamic between the Pokemon abilities and the JoJo abilities. I think Pussy genuinely has good arguments for winning, unless you think Cyrus is, like, scales to the legendaries in speed. That's, like, the big question. If Cyrus is, like, baseline light speed, then Pussy has good arguments for, like, blitzing him before Cyrus can do anything. But if you think Cyrus is, like, millions or infinite speed, then Pussy can't do anything.
Is it
So it really
Pussy?
comes down to your opinions on the...
It's
I've always
Poochie.
called it Pussy. But a Poochie is also...
I don't want you to come
This
on
is
my
the problem
stream
when
and
people
start
read stuff
saying
instead of
Pussy,
watching.
alright? Let's stick with Poochie. YouTube's gonna think it's something else and fucking ban my ass.
I apologize for putting your channel at risk.
It's the fucking...
Poochie.
Dude. Fun
Could
fact, the
have-
only time I've ever gotten a copyright strike from a live stream that shut it down was from way back in the day when I reacted to Aizen versus Madara. Rooster Teeth shut down the stream and gave me a strike.
Wow.
Isn't that fun?
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Honestly, I love this matchup thematically. I think the debate's interesting because it really comes down to how you interpret, like, you know, the Creation Trio stuff and, you know, the extent of Made in Heaven. Like, I don't want to, like, it definitely has a few issues, especially since, like, it's either one can stomp over the other, and it just really depends on which one you buy doing the stomping, but even with that, like, I think the thematics and the story potential is enough to kind of, like, make up for it, so I'd put it, like, in a solid A-, B+ area.
Lemonade said they never brought up that White Snake could whip out a Glock and shoot Cyrus.
White Snake has shot people before with the gun. Because stands have a limited range, but a gun has a much better range, so they just gave his stand a gun. It was great.
That's hilarious. The way they made it come off was that Cyrus having Dialga and Palkia just works on a level that Poochie just can't
I think
contend
if
with.
it was a question of Palkia and Dialga versus Poochie, then Poochie literally can't do anything, like they would just turn off his powers. But the thing is, Cyrus is controlling Dialga and Palkia with the red chains, means that they're not fighting Poochie of their own volition, they're just doing what Cyrus tells them to do.
Yeah,
Depends
so...
on Cyrus telling them to do the counter they would need to do, at which time Poochie could just take him out.
Plus, like, if Poochie is able to break the red chain, Dialga and Palkia are probably going to turn on Cyrus. So, like, I think there's an argument to be made that Made in Heaven would be strong enough to destroy the red chains controlling them.
I think if Dialga and Palkia get released, that's a Metal Sonic ending. We're just like, well, I guess they're both being taken out. Because they'd have beef with both of them.
I think that's a solid B. After hearing your arguments, I was gonna say lower, but that high-ended it for me.
Like a B- kind of guy myself. I think their motivations are similar on a surface level, but really different in terms of their actual motivations. But yeah, the fight is interesting.
Zoro?
I already said, like, A minus B plus, so it'll average out to around B.
Yeah. Number 6. It's gonna make a lot of people happy and sad at the same time. If I can find it. That is King K. Rool versus Blackbeard.
Oh, I'm so happy and sad at the same time.
Our community is very divisive on this matchup. I don't know if you've seen it on the server, but there's some people who really like it and some people who really hate it.
I think it's just divisive literally everywhere. Reddit,
Is it?
YouTube comments.
Yeah, like, you either like it or you hate it. There is no in between.
I'm an in between.
For me personally, I don't hate it, but it just doesn't really do what I want. So it's like, I don't think it's bad, but I would say it's like I don't think it's a Mojo Gorilla Grodd levels of bad, but I would say it's kind of like, it seems relatively the only interesting part of it would be like, ooh, I wonder if Blackbeard can turn off some of K. Rool's powers. In which, if the answer is yes, it's like, alright, cool. Then K. Rool just punches him and the fight's over. Like, there's like some interesting things you can do about it, but the interesting stuff isn't that interesting to me. I'd say it's just like a fine matchup, but I think both have better options.
That's
really, I don't know. I really don't like this one. I'm kind of like one of the ones that are kind of hate it, just because like there's not really much besides Pirate and Yar. I don't know. Like, it doesn't really do much for me. I'd put it in D just because I honestly don't understand why people really just find these two fighting each other so compelling.
If I was managing this tier list, I would put K. Rool versus Blackbeard in C, but then move up the other two things in C up to C+.
I can live with that.
I'll live with that too. Yeah, that I think that's fair.
Yeah. Mewtwo versus Black War Greymon is 5.
That's clearly a top tier one, right? Like this.
Oh yeah, A plus.
This is why I wanted to put Courier in A, because I'm like, there's some matchups that are just like, this is like a top matchup for me. This is like, oh hell yeah, now we're in the
now we're cooking.
It's Pokemon versus Digimon, but debatable because Mewtwo has some really crazy scaling and his hacks are wild.
Pokemon versus Digimon, as it was always imagined to be by kids on the playground.
What I'm curious about is, would we include the games with this, or would we just stick Mewtwo?
Probably not. I mean, I'm no Digimon expert, so I'm not sure how in-depth we would go. But I think, like, the anime for Pokemon has enough content that we could make a anime exclusive Mewtwo if it would have all you need for the debate. So I think I would just use the anime for both of them. But
yeah,
I'm not a Digimon expert, so other people could say, like, it works better a different way.
Well, as like someone who's like really familiar with Digimon, like a lot of the reasons why this matchup is so popular thematic wise is because we're not talking about like Dark Black War Greymon the species. This is a very specific one from Digimon 02. So I feel like if you include stuff from the games, you kind of just lose what makes the matchup special. So I would keep it like anime for both.
That's true. It's just that both of them kind of lose a lot of what they can do if you just stick them to both things. Like,
I mean, yeah,
War Greymon is just War Greymon, and Mewtwo has like none of the actual hacks that make a lot of the debate a lot more interesting. I don't know. That's an interesting question.
I think if someone was to research this, maybe what they could do is they could start by just analyzing it from anime versus anime, see how it works out then, and then we could start looking into like the games and seeing like, all right, do we add these in? Does it make it more interesting or less interesting? Let's figure out that.
Also, no, you don't need to keep commenting matchup suggestion stuff. I do read it. It's fine. It doesn't need to be the same thing over and over. It's not really part of the conversation we're having, which is why I'm not talking about it. But I am reading it, so don't worry.
Also, big W to Mewtwo versus Blackboard Greymon being more popular than the funny One Piece matchup and the Resident Evil plug.
Don't get
oh yeah.
That's how you know
Let's
it's a good
go.
matchup. When the people
don't
show
get too
up.
excited. Jotaro versus Yuta is in
I
fourth
guess
place.
JJK trumps everything in popularity.
Bro,
I
it's
guess
crazy.
JJK and JoJo is a pretty potent combo when it comes to being a views merchant.
Yeah.
I'm not
This was-
too big on this matchup.
I don't really get it.
Well, like they have their soul buddies that fight, and it kind of.
And they're like really, really strong, and
I don't want to yuck on anyone's yum. I saw the connections list and there's some things there, but I just don't think it's very.
I keep calling him Yuta. I mean, keep calling him Yuji, but he's Yuta, not Yuji.
like it works, but there's not too much going on fight-wise, and then the thing for me is, like, dynamically, a lot of people can't really see cursed spirits unless you're kind of, like, trained with that, and only stand users can see other stand users. So we have a matchup where both people have, like, a spirit buddy that they can't see the opponents of, so there's not a lot of meaningful interaction and planning around them besides, oh, wow, they got something I can't see, da-da-da-da-da.
I think it's pretty easy to explain why they could see each other stand and curse, because you can just see curses if you're. Well, you can just see stands if you're spiritually attuned in JoJo, and you can, like, see curses if you're in a life and death situation and have, like, awakened that ability. And you could, like, make an argument that with all the shit Jotaro's been through, he could already potentially see that stuff. You could also just argue that being able to be spiritually aware in JoJo would let you see curses in JJK. Like, I feel like that's a very low bar to say, like, they can see each other's abilities.
I mean, has there been a JoJo character that could see stands without being able to use one of their own?
Yeah, there's, the one kid from Part 4.
But did he actually see Killer Queen?
I can almost guarantee you don't need to be a stand user in order to see stands.
But that's like one of the main rules of stands. Only a stand user can see another stand. Like,
That's like a basic version of the rule to explain it in 10 seconds so they can have their Monster of the Week episode where normal people don't see them and stand users see them. But there's, like, a lot more lore. There's, like, I think Cars can see stands in the novels before he actually gets any of his own. Like, as long as you're, like, spiritually attuned, you can see a stand.
Look, that's a pillar, man. They can learn the language of someone they've never listened to just after a few seconds of hearing you talk. Like, I feel like that's a different level from just...
Attuned. That's just being smart. Now you're changing the goalpost here.
No, I'm saying that because argument doesn't even apply here.
In any case, I would say C minus.
Yeah, I don't think this is actually thematic. The whole thing was, like, I think this became a matchup because Yuta has a very stand-like ability as far as JJK goes that other JJ characters don't have. And, like, oh, what if he fought, like, a stand user like Jotaro?
Yeah, it's one of those matchups.
There's not actually a lot of similarities between them beyond the fact that, like, they're arguably one of, like, the strongest in their verse. But they're strong in very different ways, where Jotaro is just, like, the Superman of his world, where he's, like, the strongest and fastest one. Whereas Yuta is just as, like, an absurd bag of tricks that lets him win almost encounter.
But could
So
he
it's like
copy the
strongest of the
stand
different-
powers? That's one of the connections, by the way, is that they copy other people's powers, which is just false, by the way, on
joke
Jotaro's
connection.
side.
That's not a... That's
Yeah,
not
he just
real.
has the same type of stand as the world. Like, guys, read. I know JoJo fans aren't known for reading, but read, guys.
I can almost guarantee you that connection was a joke, but people who didn't know thought it was serious.
It's in a, I don't know. I saw it in a legit connection list. Luffy versus Natsu.
That's fine.
Yeah, like this is one of those for me where it's like it's a solid matchup, but there's like there is nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing that really stands out as like, oh heck yeah, now we're cooking, you know? Like
I think this death battle needs to start at the very end of Natsu versus Ace. Luffy sees Ace die, and then the fight begins. That'd be perfect. Call back. Let's go.
oh, that'd be fun.
That's a decision that you could make.
FCC did this as an episode. It was pretty decent. I don't know what it does particularly that is like unique, right? I think Luffy probably just wins. It might be debatable. I'm not sure. I have never actually seen Fairy Tail. I've heard it's pretty bad, but one of you guys could tell me if I'm wrong.
Fairy Tail has some funny high-end arguments that One Piece can't really match up to, but at a much more like conservative level, Luffy should be much stronger. And by much, I mean like Natsu should get to like the moon levels, whereas Luffy would like highly upscale to like planet to maybe large planet level, depending on interpretations.
I don't know how to feel about this one, so I might just refer to you guys. How you
feel like, if I'm being like perfectly honest, it's like a C+ for me because it doesn't interest me. I think Luffy has much more interesting options. I don't really have any better options for Natsu, so I feel bad putting it at C+. It's like either a C+ or a B for me, or B-.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm kind of there too, C+ or B-, just because like there's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing really special to make it stand out. And you know, Natsu just has a really weird spread to begin with, where none of his options really click well, but works well enough to justify its existence. I don't know. This is just a weird one for me. I'm gonna say, for the sake of not having to debate on which one to go in, I'll just keep it in C+.
All right. We got Axel versus Cody is an awesome matchup. We got number 2, which I was surprised it wasn't number 1, but then when you think of number 1, it makes sense. Boros versus Battle Beast. I feel like
this is a solid A.
Yeah, I was gonna say A. There's not much to it in terms of like they're very like you get it, right? Just battling motherfuckers that have maybe some special swords or special attacks, or maybe one can regen and the other one's just very sturdy, whatever. It would just be an awesome fight.
At one point in time, this would have been an A+ for me. It was like one of my favorite matchups in general. But one of the big appeals of that matchup was I thought the debate was really interesting and nuanced and really cool. But then as time went by, it became very clear that Battle Beast is just massively stronger and faster. And not so much to make like the debate like a washout, like by death battle standards it'd be closer than a lot of other fights, but it's just like he is like billions of times faster and like dozens to hundreds of times stronger, so it's just like Boros can't realistically do anything, which did knock it a couple of tiers for me. I think it's like thematically cool, but these are characters where being thematically cool doesn't actually go all that deep into them. Like it's just like, yep, they both do love that thrill of the fight. That's their whole life goal, which is like perfect if the debate's interesting, but if the debate is lacking, the thematics can only hold it up so much for me. And that sounds like I'm dissing it. It's still like going to be like somewhere in the A tiers for me. It's still a really cool matchup. I'm just saying why it's not A+ for me anymore.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think we can all accept an A.
Yeah.
I'm
like
cool with A.
It's a very simple and fun one, and it does what it does very well.
Without looking at it, can you guys guess what was the most popular one?
Was it Kane versus Alistair?
It's not even close. It's Kane versus Alistair.
We should do a Has Been Hotel or Digital Circus episode.
Dude,
Clearly, it's the way to get
seriously. It's like Boros versus Battle Beast had like it was more popular by like a pretty good margin from Luffy Natsu, but this is like that's the difference between 11,000 views and this one is 31,000 views.
My gosh.
It's crazy. I don't know how this works. I'm just being honest. You just throw Alistair in the circus and he wins. Or he loses because Kane just controls it. Or you put Kane in hell and he can't do anything. Or you could try to equalize it and give Alistair all his powers in the circus, but I don't feel like that works.
Well, here's an interesting tidbit about Alistair is that other technology that's not radio acts very weirdly around him. Like, we saw in, like, Velvet's dreams that he just glitches out and is, like, obscured by it, and that, you know, he just has a way of just, like, glitching out and corrupting other technology. So I could actually see an interesting scenario where if he's in the circus, Kane has limited ability to interact with him just because of his very nature. It's preventing, you know, it's obscuring his, like, very presence within the circus itself. But
I think
aside
that's a
from
really
that,
big leap in logic for how Alistair's powers have been shown to work.
yeah, like that's an interesting thing, but even then, like, if we go off that assumption, now we have Kane, who can't really interact with Alistair much, and Alistair, who is adherent to anything technology, so would not abide by the rules of the circus or even think to bring up a computer to delete his character file. So we just kind of have them unable to do anything to each other at all.
Nope, that's something that's very true, which is crazy how after episode 8, like, a huge ton of Kane matchups were made and came out of the woodworks and were very good. And then Death Battle chose none of them and went with Kane versus Alistair instead.
Look at the views. It speaks for itself why they did it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to do, like, Has Been Hotel versus Kane, but, like... that doesn't make the matchup good.
Like, Vox versus Kane has more going on than this. Yeah, I'm not... That seems appropriate.
I'm sorry.
I think the amount of views it garnered... I want Death Battle to succeed as a company, so if this makes them, like, a more $1 billion, maybe we can bump it up to a D.
No, yeah. You know what? I want them to exist, so yes. That is all
if we
the
gotta get one Kane versus Alistair a year to grease the wheels, then so be it.
I thought this was to judge the matchup on its merit, not outside factors. On the matchup at merit itself, it's not a good matchup at all.
The merit of the matchup is that it would get a lot of views and make a lot of money.
You're gonna type yourself as a stickler if you keep up like this, Zoro.
So
maybe I am a stickler.
We are set to switch to the fan casting, but I have a little announcement thing. / kind of ad read, although they didn't give me an ad to read. But someone in the community, who I believe their company is called Kamalayan Works, if my notes are correct, is making a video game that you could play a beta of down in the description called Rollin' with the Punches. They reached out to me to do a little promo on the game on the cast, and I thought it looked fun and interesting. And I played a little bit of the demo this morning just to see like if it's fun. And it's a mix of like a physics-based game and the frustration of Bennett Foddy, if you've ever played the Bennett Foddy game. It's all about getting skilled, getting back up, and keep going. So I decided that to have some fun with this whole situation, and to kind of promote the game a little more and have a good time while doing it, me and Sherm on Thursday morning at 10 are going to race. He's going to stream his end on his channel. I'm going to stream my end here. and we're gonna see who could get the farthest in a certain amount of time, and whoever wins is considered the better gamer. All right. So I don't know if Sherm agreed to that part.
I did.
But it's
agree
true.
to this. My honor is on this.
So if anyone wants to check it out or support it, I have the demo, the Patreon, and the Steam page in the description of the video. And it is pretty fun, although I'm going to suck at it. You'll see on Thursday. I'll practice a little bit tomorrow. But it is very entertaining. I would not have done it if an ad read for it if I Kamataya, sorry, if I thought it was stupid or bad. Just to say. Going back to this. Oh yeah, Nick's Berserker. He's the one that I believe is making the game or publishing it. I'm not sure.
He's green.
He's green. What do you mean a lot of his matchups the casual like? I can't remember what we were talking about before. Oh, Alistair versus Kane. Do we want to move? Let's move to FBC now.
Yeah.
Are we changing
right
the
back,
name
keep
of
going.
FBC?
It's still gonna be the FBC for the current time
Okay.
being. I'll be right back, by the way.
Oh, I need you for this one.
I won't be right back.
We can do a different one while he's gone.
No. I'll do the one I debated with Saul. Gwenpool
All right,
versus
then
Subaru.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. This there's 22 casts of Fanbell cast. This came in 20th place. So there's 2 I skipped over. I see the vision with this matchup, but I'm not exactly sure how you would make it work. Gwenpool is a character who can just kind of like drop you outside of comic panels, like into a void of nothingness, and she exists on a form of reality that Subaru can't experience. The Subaru fit. Oh yeah, Subaru Kazuma. I don't exactly know how that would translate to Subaru's Return by Death. Like, if you could just drop him outside of a universe that doesn't exist to him, would it even work? And there's the fact of she's casually taking out some high tiers in Marvel while Subaru is Subaru.
Yeah, wouldn't Subaru just be able to, like, call out that witch's name and just have her find him anyway?
So, you then, with Gwenpool, get into the conversation of Gwen just can exist on higher dimensions. Could Satella break through the barrier and exist somewhere higher than herself, right? Which we've never seen. So I don't know. Like that Void World, she drops Dr. Doom in the cast. I don't know if you watched it, but she
I haven't seen any of these casts except for the one I was in.
Scott Pilgrim. I was reading the thing. Gwenpool grabs Dr. Doom, and outside the comic panel just drops him. He now exists outside of the comic. So, what is that? Like that's my biggest thing. It's like what does that mean? Could Satella go past her medium and go into the in between the comic pages and save Subaru, which is just a weird question.
Did Dr. Doom ever get out of it? Like, how did he get out?
I think she
Or did they just leave him there?
I believe she just got him back out. Like, she just was like, all right, you're good.
If I am to just be a little nihilistic, this sounds like the kind of matchup that was made just to specifically screw over Subaru.
It was a pitch. I don't want to devalue that. And I would love to talk to the pitcher, or at least hear the pitcher's thoughts before having a full opinion on it. But it just kind of seems like Subaru gets fucked.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the vision on this one either. Like,
Gwenpool is a difficult character to match in terms of power interaction, which is a shame because she's awesome. I think she'd totally be on the show. And then they said he's Doctor Doom. If anyone can get out on their own, it's him. That's funny. I think D.
Yeah. Yeah, I think D's fair.
There might be something here, but we don't know yet. And let's do this one. And right next, 19. Pitt versus Zagreus.
Oh, terrible. Who would even consider doing this?
Yeah, F. You know,
Yeah, but for real, I love this one so much.
I still need to play Hades, but Sherm said F tier.
Okay, well, Sherm is negative bias, so we're gonna ignore him for now, and he's not even here. So, but yeah, I love this one. I'm so hyped that we are doing this.
Do you ever get the feeling sometimes that when you're about to say something about a matchup, do you ever think to yourself, like, have we confirmed this yet? And have, like, a moment of, like, because I do that all the time. I was about to say something about us doing Pitt versus Zag, and I was like, wait, is that what they know?
I have to hesitate in my mind, and then I'm like, no, we've talked about this before, and, like, we have... What I do is I open up the fan server. It's like, okay, do we have a thread for this? Okay, we do. Okay.
Yeah, Zoro has a very big part in that episode.
Yeah. So I don't want to like talk too much about it without risking accidentally going into like some of the behind the scenes and spoil some of the cool stuff we found from it. But I love it thematically. I think both of them have like a really good tone of like being serious when they need to be, but on the surface just like not taking themselves too seriously. Like they'd have great interactions with each other. Like bias, I'd put it in A, like A or A plus.
I'm fine doing that. Sherm's vote would bring it down, but for integrity for the show we do, I'll put it there.
Yeah.
Nitrous Oxide 19. That was Pitt Zag. 18. Nitrous Oxide versus Jet the Hawk. I think I placed this in the perfect tier. I think C. I debated in this one, by the way.
Yeah. This one definitely seems interesting.
The thing that's hold on, sorry, I'm reading the comments. Let me read my copy of Hades. No, don't do it, Sonics. We're only 2 days away, damn it. Smelt said, I think it's pretty neat, but a lot of exposure for me has been from people who just talk about the spite another Zagreus matchup, so I still need to judge on its own merit. Really? What is the spite Zagreus matchup?
Okay, so a lot of people, and this is the reason why I think Sherm doesn't like it so much, a lot of Pitt Zagreus fans really have a toxic mindset about the matchup and use it just to like they made it specifically because they didn't like Pitt versus Percy or something like that. I don't know. They got beef with each other. The
It's
Percy Zagreus and the
Percy.
Zagreus fans.
Smelt says.
Huh?
Smelt says it's Zagreus versus Percy.
Yeah. Like the fans of both of those matchups have major beef with each other, and it can get pretty toxic.
Why? They're whatever. I don't understand that mindset at all.
Yeah. Like I like both matchups a lot. I just prefer Pitt versus Zag just because I grew up with both games and I haven't read Percy Jackson. So it's more of a familiarity thing for me. But anyway,
Jet versus Nitrous. I debated for Nitrous in this one. The biggest thing is the debate itself is kind of not really existent. Nitrous obviously doesn't get very high compared to the Sonic cast.
Yeah,
Sonic's just ridiculous. So a lot of the cast was me just trying to be like, what are the potential best arguments I can make for a win here? And what I came up with was Nitrous having like essentially unlimited items to throw, whereas Jet is a lot more limited with his combat. And that Nitrous could have an army of people to like kind of be cheap in the fight like he usually does. Normally, I would actually rate this below probably like C minus, but I actually bump it up because of one funny power interaction that could happen. And that is in the Sonic Riders games, there's this electric barrier that stops you from like running too early, and you have to like time your run and get on your board at a very specific time to get a boost. In Nitrous Oxide, starts every fight with him by cheating and running before the timer is up and starting the race before you. So I think it's really funny to have the combine the two and have Nitrous try to cheat and get electrocuted. That's the only reason it's up on C right now.
Honestly, like, it does have a very comedic element. Plus, like, if we want to lean more into like Nebula Theater's like more unconventional matchup settings, having a racing battle between these two, especially one, even if it's kind of like a stomp, would be very interesting just to see them like battle on top of a racing course and like having the comedic interaction, since it seems like you know, this is a leans a bit more into like Crash Bandicoot's level of like slapstick humor. So I feel like this you could have a lot of fun interactions, but I can see why it's not higher. I'd go like C plus.
Yeah,
Stick to C since you know.
I'm gonna skip one to wait for Sherm. 16 is Sash versus Shantae.
This oh, Sherm's back.
I like
Oh, is he?
Shantae.
Oh, we'll do this and then we'll double back. Sash versus Shantae. I also debated for Sash in this, and I won. Thank you. It's very interesting. I think for indie games, it's nice that we have like a matchup that kind of is better for Shantae than Shovel Knight. Although I have been seeing one around that Sherm showed me that seemed really interesting as well. I think you had it in your document against some other indie character.
There's two Shantae matchups I like more than this, but I'm not sure if that's what we want to talk about on this.
That's fair. I think this works. It is lacking in some thematic connections between the characters, but I think the potential for the fight and the personality clash, like the tone of the fight, would be very, very good. I don't know if you've ever played Freedom Planet, but that shit is so edgy, and I feel like that would kind of play off Shantae quite a bit. Her like very cheerful, like upbringing attitude towards things.
Yeah.
Now,
Like, oh, go ahead, Sherm.
I could just be completely uninformed on the vibe in Story of Freedom Planet, because I did look into it a little bit to see what the connections are and what the story is. But I didn't actually play it, and playing a game can always give a very different vibe than just reading about it. But for me, like, I don't really see how Sash Lilac appeals in the same way as Shantae. Like, I feel like I like Shantae a lot for, like, its vibe and its aesthetic and, like, kind of its whole, like, self-expression. Like, I like that. And Sash Lilac seems, like, aesthetically similar, but seems like it's much more like a Sonic style save the world, and it's like that's not quite the vibes for me. But maybe I just don't understand Sash Lilac.
Yeah, I mean, I as someone that like is familiar with Sash Lilac, like I understand like the aesthetics between her and Shantae, although I do kind of agree with you with like when you get into like the games, like it's definitely a different tone because like it kind of harkens back to the Sonic adventure games where tries to take itself a bit more seriously with like saving the world and all this stuff with like galactic aliens and invasions and whatnot. And Shantae, the stories don't really take themselves too seriously. They're just kind of going at the own beat, having like fun, just a lot more lighthearted vibes than what Lilac is going for.
I guess what's really weird to me is people always harp on Shantae versus Shantae versus Shovel Knight as being ass because it has no connections. But then they'll turn around and say this is like peak, and I'm like, but this also has no connection. The connections are they attack with hair and are half human. Actually, I don't even know if Sash Lilac's half human. I think she's half unicorn and half like water dragon or something.
Yeah. She's like half dragon, but the other half ain't human.
So it's like this also has no connections. I don't know. I think this one gets a pass because they have other options for Shovel Knight. So you're just like, yeah, and this one for Shantae, sure. But
I don't know.
It's more just a vibes thing for me. I don't know. It's not that deep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling like C or C plus.
maybe yeah, this might be like, yeah, I guess it's better than like, yeah, I guess C is fair.
That's about where I would put it anyway. Jumping back, to what was the least popular for FBC was Yamato versus Mara Jade.
So I think Yamato is really cool. I'd love to find a matchup for him that's like peakers. Uh, we kind of just did this to do a Yamato matchup because this is the one that me and Saul could do with like less than an hour of prep time because I know Yamato and he knows Mara Jade. As a matchup itself, it does certainly work, but it's very surface level. I'd say it probably works to a similar degree as like K. Rool Blackbeard. Because they do have similarities. Like, we did come up with this matchup because they do are like there's a lot of parallels you can draw between Kaido and Yamato and Palpatine and Mara Jade. They're both like martial weapon fighters. They have some fun abilities to play off of each other. It does certainly work at like a baseline level, but it's not like super peakers or anything.
As soon as I heard the words Mara Jade scales to Luke, I knew it was Jover.
Yeah, legend scaling is pretty scary.
Yeah, I don't know either of these two characters, so I'll default to what you guys say
I'm
on
gonna default
these.
to Sherm.
I guess I'll default to a C, which is a bummer because I think I like this matchup more than anything else in C. That's just because I like Yamato more than anything else in any other character in C. So it's just like it's better than them because I like Yamato more, but like as a matchup, it's about the same.
Let me actually.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna rearrange these and how much I like them. All right, so let's just boom. If they want to move the way I want them to move, boom. And that's about right. All right.
Well, Battle Beast versus Boros is way better than. Alright, whatever.
It's his personal preference. Herbert West versus Rick Tofen.
I was the debater for Herbert on this matchup.
It kind of sounds like Herbert gets fucked.
Oh, he
Because
does.
you debated badly. No, I'm kidding.
I gave him scaling that he shouldn't get.
As you do on a cast. Was this a debate or a debate? Well, was this a pitch?
This was a pitch, yes.
Do we have the pitch? Was it recorded?
It is not a recorded pitch.
Damn it! All right.
Yeah.
I get the reanimator vibe from it and how Richtofen fits. I'm just like I don't know what he does. Like I don't know what Herbert does.
So Herbert is a horror movie character who is usually portrayed as relatively human level. He makes zombies because he's a mad scientist, and then he kind of has to deal with it. So it's like if Frankenstein, instead of making Frankenstein, made monsters, and the monsters would try to kill him, and so he has to kind of get away from and maybe kill his own monsters. And then as he gets more advanced with it in the comics and the future movies, he is able to then weaponize these zombies to do what he wants them to do.
So he is
also
the
he's
zombies
just-
map for Richtofen to go through.
Yes, that's the idea with this matchup is that he is a guy who weaponizes zombies against a guy who kills zombies.
I see the vision now. I get it.
All right.
I think okay, so I say like there are appeals to it. It's kind of interesting to compare like the Necronomicon to like the Eldritch things Richtofen gets into. I just think like it's not thematic and it's not debatable. So it's kind of just like it could maybe be a cool animation, and that's kind of like the long and short of it from my perspective.
All right, I'd put it like C plus.
I would say like personally, I'd put it as like a D, but if I'm being fair, I'd probably say C minus.
I'm gonna go with C minus as well.
Oh, all right.
It doesn't really do what I want for either. Big problem.
All right.
Outland
I
takes-
actually have to dip now because I have to get to my job soon. So I'll talk to y'all later.
I'll see ya.
Bye.
We're doubling back down to 17. Xenos Yay Galvis versus Darth Nihilus.
The Final Fantasy versus Star Wars Legends matchup.
Yes. I need to know more about this.
So, I don't know the most about Xenos, but he is like the kind of face antagonist for the first part of Final Fantasy XIV. He's like your rival. So, like, if we were to say like who's the main villain of 14, Xenos. It's hard to say who is objectively the main antagonist, but Xenos would be like one of the characters in contention for that title. And he's like a big rival, and he fights you a couple of times. Do you know about Darth Nihilus?
I watched the cast.
Yeah, so
I
Nihilus is like Star Wars' version of Galactus, basically.
Yeah. There's a lot of 14 versus Star Wars matchups.
14 specifically? I know there's a lot of just Star Wars versus Final Fantasy.
I've seen a lot of 14 specifically.
This is the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
I'm going to defer to you on this. Because
I think the debate is interesting. If Nihilus genuinely gets like to the high ends legend stuff, then he does fare pretty nicely to Final Fantasy XIV scaling. I think this might just be my like lack of knowledge because I'm not sure if it's super interesting thematically. Like I think if they would have a fight, like Nihilus would just be like silent the whole time, and Xenos would be like, "Wow, this is a good fight. This is cool," and then one of them would kill each other, and it's just kind of like, this could be better than I'm giving it credit for, but for me personally, it's probably like. I'd maybe put it in like the. It's kind of tough because I'm kind of trying to judge it objectively and not just what I feel like. I'd say it's like a C plus.
I'm gonna go with that. It sounds fun. I just I need more knowledge.
It's subject to change if we ever eventually play Final Fantasy 14.
14, Nightcrawler versus Nico D'Angelo. I think you were also on this one?
This is one of my favorite matchups.
Oh, really?
I would be arguing for putting this in an A+ tier.
Really? Tell me about it. Convince me.
So, Nightcrawler versus... Well, how much do you know about Nightcrawler and Nico?
I know quite a bit about Nightcrawler, not a lot about Nico.
Alright, so Nico is one of the main characters of just the Rick Riordan franchise. After like Percy kind of retires because he's been the protagonist for 2-book series, Nico still keeps doing stuff. So Nico kind of becomes like the de facto Greek demigod powerhouse. He's the son of Hades. His story is all about like getting over loss, self-acceptance, discrimination. Because he's both like a half-blood who kind of has to deal with the fact that like monsters are trying to kill him, and also he doesn't know his dad. But also he's gay, which in the time that book came out was very hard. I mean, it's still hard, but it was particularly hard in like the early 2010s. So it's a lot of very compelling story writing. He is a sword fighter similar to Nightcrawler. They can both teleport around. They can both summon minions. I very much like how their story parallels play off of each other. Nightcrawler's Catholicism is a very interesting to compare to how that would work in the Rick Riordan world. Uh, there's a lot of really, really cool stuff I like with this. I like the fact that whether or not they can send each other to the afterlife is a genuine part of the debates. Because Nightcrawler has a very weird relationship with heaven. Because he can both teleport out of heaven, and now this isn't really fully explained, but now he's no longer allowed to go to heaven. So it's like, in some ways, you could argue Nico would be the perfect person to put him in the afterlife, but you could also argue that Nightcrawler like actually resists that hacks, which most Nico opponents do not resist the hacks. Like the ability to just send you to hell is a very good hacks, but Nightcrawler resists it. This just does a lot I really like. I think it's like a perfect fight dynamic, very interesting thematically. Franchises I'd love to cover. It kind of does everything I want. It's a perfect contender for it. Makes perfect sense for it to get the A+ slot in my mind.
I think I agree. That sounds fun. It's also giving Nightcrawler a matchup that actually goes into what it means to be Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. Zoe versus Cece.
Hey, Smell, if you're still in the audience, it's your matchup.
Hey, if only Spelt was here. So, my only question after watching it was just like how we would, like theoretically, if we were to make this right. How exactly the fight would go?
Like,
because it seems like they're both like very like not fighty people, right?
Yeah. So Zoe does have a lot of abilities, and Cece does. I mean, Cece is a more fighty character. Like, I think they just do fight people in mashup week.
Does she?
So it's like yeah, like they Cece was the chair that was the final boss, and everyone had to like fight the chair to win.
Oh.
They had like fire powers and stuff.
So would you transfer those powers to the new?
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason that she wouldn't have the powers in her current form. I think she would still have all the same stuff. Zoe has actually been in more fights. Oh, so Zoe's gotten into a bar fight before, so granted, that's good to know.
That's fucking hilarious.
So they can throw hands. Okay, so imagine. Okay, so TJ Kama versus Balrog. That's kind of how this is going now. Maybe not quite like that, but so they can throw hands at the very least. So it's kind of like CC can, fight with fire powers as someone would fight with fire powers, and Zoe has eldritch powers.
She's eldritch powers. So, I mean, that sounds interesting. At least there's showings of combat. I don't know why I thought after the fact that they didn't fight.
I'd say this is like, it's a very good matchup. Probably like an A- for me.
I'll stick with you because it sounds interesting. Very unique.
Yeah, I would love to cover Monster Prom. That's super fun.
Sly versus River. I'm just gonna put it in D. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I debated in it. I don't get it. River's just gonna go back in time and fuck Sly's mom. I don't like. What is? I don't know.
I mean, it seems like the debate was not as debatable as we once thought it was. But I think it like fundamentally works better as a matchup than everything in D tier. Like I'd say it's like at least a C tier. Like it has connections and thematics.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like the connection list I was sent is not very accurate on Sly's end.
Oh.
Which is why when that's what I was talking to Saul about after he said let's do this, I was just like, so here's the thing about Sly. This isn't really true. Like if you really look from far away and squint, maybe, but not really. There are connections, but they're not as deep as people would want you to think they are.
Well,
The dynamic,
I'll
the
try to
dynamic
keep
of the fight is that River is apparently millions to billions of times faster and can see through all of Sly's equipment, even if he tried
That's
to turn
not the
invisible.
dynamic. That's the debate.
Okay, so what does Sly do?
He hits people with a cane.
Okay, how does he hit her with a cane?
He kind of winds up with the cane over his head and he brings it down.
Okay, how does he land the hit?
That's not the dynamic. The dynamic is what we make the fight look like. The debate is how the fight would actually go.
The dynamic has to they have to be interconnected. You can't say when your analysis that so and so is thousands of times faster or whatever, and then portray them as slow as shit in the fight. That's just not how that works.
We would have River like dodging more often than not, but like I mean you know how this works. When in Subaru versus Kazuma, we didn't have Kazuma unable to dodge anything because he was 8 times slower. We portrayed them as being somewhat relative speed in the fight.
Not really. I kind of even in that case, I was having it. He was dodging because of his auto evade, which is why his dodges looked really awkward.
But that's literally wouldn't matter. If he was 8 times faster, the auto evade wouldn't matter.
Sure it would.
No.
I can no limits fallacy the shit out of that.
Are you just to say Sly versus River is worse than it is?
Yep.
Alright, so Blimp is willing to tarnish the rules of how his own show works so that a Sly matchup that's subpar is at the bottom of the barrel.
No. I just don't think there's literally anything to it. I don't think the connections are good. I don't think the thematics are good. I don't think there's a debate. I don't even necessarily think that the dynamic's good because, again, she's just like... She has weapons that would just atomize him immediately and just, like, boom, done. And she doesn't really play off of his sneakiness that much because she doesn't fight in the same way he does.
Fine.
So I don't know. Like, literally, I think I just convinced myself as an F, actually.
Whoa, worse. Okay, they can both physically throw hands. That's better than Kane Alistair.
It has to be.
I have a hard time buying that's worse than Gorilla Grodd versus Mojo or Gwen versus Subaru.
I'll put it at the top of D. It's got the full D, according to me, alright? Does that work for you?
It works fine for me.
T-Rex versus Great White.
Hell
A plus.
If I'm being fully serious, I love it, but I think I'd probably put it in, like, the top of A tier.
Only at the top of A tier? I thought this sounded... let's discuss. I thought this sounded amazing.
It is amazing. It's awesome. I just don't know if it's as awesome as Mewtwo, Blackboard Greymon, or Nico Nightcrawler.
Wait, wasn't it Rexy versus Bruce specifically? I went by the name of the
I was under the
cast.
impression that Great White versus T-Rex would do better view-wise than Rexy versus Bruce.
Rexy versus Bruce is the names. This sounded fucking awesome, though. Just, like, adding in all the side material. Having a system where it's like, alright, who's better on land? Who's better in a mixed environment? Who's better in the water and shit like that was very interesting to go through. Granted, the answer was obvious for all but one of those categories, but still.
Yeah.
I'm fine putting it in A, but I'm gonna put it here.
I would have said top of A tier.
Oh, even above Mando Courier? Alright. I love how I had no problems putting it in A+, but then I'm like, well, actually, it's in the back of A. It's a very fun matchup. Zamasu versus Gore is one that...
I'm curious about your thoughts on this, because I have a lot of mixed feelings.
I liked it more before the cast. And then after, it kind of just made it seem like Zamasu can't really do anything at all. It has no way to kill Gore.
I mean, that is true, but that's everyone's known that.
So what's your contentious thing?
I mean, yeah, I guess that's like the things I always disliked about it, because I've never really fully been into this matchup. I didn't like the debate. I thought that they had more interesting options, like debate-wise and coverage-wise, than another Marvel versus Dragon Ball. I guess those are my two things. It's another Marvel versus Dragon Ball, and it's, I guess, more specifically comics versus Dragon Ball, and also, like, which we've gotten before. I'd rather see something more interesting for either of them, debate-wise and series pairing-wise. But, like, the matchup itself, like, thematically and fight dynamic-wise, is very good. So it's like, it's very subpar in some factors and very, very good in other factors for me, which is kind of giving me, like, not quite sure how I feel about it.
I'm thinking B to B plus, because I think there's a lot that still works for it. Enough that it's like, above average, you know.
I'd say a B minus.
B minus. I'll live with that. I'm gonna put it above this one. Dan versus Ginka. This is another one.
This is another one where the cast kind of made me seem like it's a little less interesting than I thought it was.
Yes, that I was about to say the exact same thing.
I thought it was one dragon versus one Pegasus, but then it turns out it's one Pegasus versus an entire squad.
And so the entire squad scales insanely higher.
Yeah, I mean, I can forgive the higher scale. See, here's the thing: is like I'm not against the lopsided debate if it's like franchises we haven't covered yet. Like Gore versus Amasu's debate is uninteresting because I feel like it's a debate we've already had before. Like we know how comics versus Dragon Ball goes now. Like Jinka versus Dan is like a clear-cut debate, but also we've never talked about Beyblade or Bakugan before, so I'm still down if that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, and I think the legacy still should count for something, like being the next gen Ash Yugi.
I think
by less interesting, I mean just in the fact of like just mildly, not like oh my god, fuck this matchup now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would say that this matchup is still a good option. I'd be very interested in it, but I'd also be interested to hear if there's better options for these two characters that we can find in the future.
That's true. A minus.
B plus.
Yeah, B plus. That's fine. Look, a Beyblade split the Red Sea. The other one controls all of reality. Number 8, Naruto versus Luffy.
Here's the matchup we need to do, which is Moses from Beyblade versus Pharaoh Ramses from Yu-Gi-Oh.
What the fuck?
It's the biggest legacy matchup in history.
That's so silly. Naruto versus Luffy. The part 2 thumbnail is what I took because I liked it more.
It's a very good. It's a matchup that makes a lot of sense.
I think this is like I know people are like split on like who stomps who in this situation, but I think this is actually a really fun, really debatable matchup.
Yeah, I think it works very well debate wise. I think it like pushes both series. Like there's some series like where you would kind of like maybe like a low ball One Piece, you wouldn't like super look into how all the calc stacking works.
Mm-hmm.
I think with this matchup, you really have to like look into everything to really like push them as far as they can be pushed to see where their limits are.
I have Luffy winning. Who do you think wins?
As of right now, I'm on the Naruto side of things still.
Damn.
I think if this was like War Arc Naruto when he was fighting Madara, it would be Luffy. But I think with all like the Kaguya and Boruto stuff, it gives Naruto an AP edge that Luffy would have a really hard time circumventing.
Damn. I think the opposite, but that's why it's so interesting.
Yeah, it's a genuinely fascinating debate. I would say it's like probably the most fascinating debate on this list.
I might put it in A+ because I really like it.
I would say it's an A for me, maybe even an A- just because I think Luffy's like the prom queen that everyone wants to ask out. Like, there's just so many matchups that everyone's like, this has to be the Luffy episode.
Well, yeah, they have so many matchups because people don't want him to fight Naruto and lose.
No, Roman Reigns is genuinely good.
I do like Roman
And
Reigns.
Vice.
Vice,
from-
yeah, Vice from Skies of Arcadia. Next is number 7, Ditto versus Kirby. We can guess why this one got popular.
Yeah, Pokopia really helped Ditto stocks in the versus market.
This one is really, really interesting to me now, just because of Ditto's new set and how he
And
doesn't
Tino's
have to
in the
copy
audience,
one at
who
a
I
time.
believe is who pitched this matchup.
Oh, hi. I'm sure people would probably find scaling and stuff contentious because Pokemon scaling, especially for normal Pokemon, is very contentious, right? And Kirby is just a very high scaling character. But in terms of like copyability versus what Ditto can do now, which is like kind of pseudo copy, I think that's kind of very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a
Great.
little interesting to see if like Ditto could copy Kirby, which I don't see why he wouldn't be able to.
If
I don't know why I'm
if
saying
Ditto
he,
can
it's a genderless,
if Ditto can
entities.
copy humans now, or like what it thinks is humans, and I feel like there's more examples of Ditto copying humans. I think there's a potential that Ditto could copy Kirby, but I don't know how. You'd have to look at how the abilities, like the difference between a Pokemon attack and the Kirby's attack. I feel like it's just like if you could already manipulate fire, you could probably copy Fire Kirby. You know what I mean?
It could definitely do an approximation of Kirby because it can transform into inanimate objects as well. So it's kind of like it's more of just a general shapeshifter. It'd be a question of can it truly copy all the qualities of Kirby instead of just being like a Kirby approximation. My thing is like it's a kind of I don't know how I would do Ditto in a versus show because the cast kind of did like a composite Ditto where they just gave Ditto like everything it could feasibly have. Whereas I'm not sure if it would be reasonable to say like the Ditto we use would have access to like Palkia and Dialga because we've never seen a Ditto do that unless you do it in game, but then in game call that form later on. I don't know how I feel about how we'd have to like really look into what would be fair to give Ditto.
Yeah. What are you feeling?
I think this is Kirby's kind of in a Luffy situation for me, where Kirby has a lot of good matchups, and it's hard for me to say like how good the alts are if there's one that's like perfect for me. I think like this is definitely a good matchup. This is definitely a good matchup for Kirby. I would probably, just based on everything else in the tier list, I'd probably put it like somewhere. I'd probably put it at like a B tier. B tier feels alright.
Yeah, I think that's good. Shout out to Ditto versus 12.
Street Fighter.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Chris versus Batter is number 6.
I
Because
think this is
Delta
really good.
gets those clicks. I will say, the debate is not like the selling. Like it's not really going to sell you on the matchup, especially since a lot of people think the exact opposite of like how the debate went. They didn't really go into like the batter's more unique stats effects and stuff like that. So there's a lot of untapped territory if you just go with that. But I do think it's very interesting.
We'll have to run this back with you representing the batter.
You know I would.
I
'Cause
think
I
this
actually-
match is very.
I actually think the batter wins, but that's beside the point.
I think like maybe what's coloring me to liking this more than I normally would is that Chris / Kara versus the batter was a matchup for the longest time, and I never liked it. And then Chris versus batter started becoming more popular as more Deltarune chapters came out, and it kind of fixed all my problems with batter's previously most popular batter versus Kara. I mean, now this is some good. This is exactly what I would have wanted 10 years ago.
And they do have
I
good
feel-
connections with like how the player manipulates things.
It's genuinely very, very good. I'd say like I'm kind of bordering between A minus and A tier.
What the hell is Tung Tung Sahur? What the fuck? You said A minus.
Either A or A minus.
I'm gonna go A minus, but I'm gonna go pretty high into A minus. I don't like it more than Nero vs. Subway, but I do
Definitely
like it.
probably the option I'd go for both.
What's funny is that we almost did a different Chris option. If only people voted differently, which was against
What
Tiz.
was the Chris option?
Tiz from oh my god, Radiant Historia.
I was never gonna win. Deltarune can only do so much against the Who like that.
I don't know. Narrator versus Game won that week, so anything's possible.
Okay, narrator. I almost said there is no game, and Stanley Parable especially are way more popular than Tiz is.
You don't even know who Tiz is.
We
We can kind of skip this one because I don't think anyone even cares. Loser Zan. I think we could just throw that in F tier.
I mean, is F like the best tier?
Do you think this is an unequivocal A+?
Lose versus Zan is unironically, it was my most wanted matchup for like 4 years. It only became suppressed when K-pop Demon Hunters came out. It's literally my number one most wanted matchup, unless you include the K-pop Demon Hunters matchup.
Which is Roommate versus Adagio?
For us specifically.
I would have gone A minus, but I like you. So, do you like it more than Nico versus Nightcrawler?
That depends. For our show, I would say Nico versus Nightcrawler. For
just
Death
in
Battle,
general.
I would say Luzan. In general, I guess Luzan. I don't know. It's weird to say.
It's a very strong, hard comparison. A lot of people... sorry, Soundnext. So Triple T Seer is an Italian meme character that somebody made with AI. Somehow people made it more creative with actual human-made stuff. It also landed in Fortnite. What the fuck?
Curious.
People will criticize this matchup in multiple ways, right? Saying that giving them the super forms and such isn't standard and that it's a stomp in one way or the other. But what I find funny is that nobody agrees on what side stomps who. They just always think it's a stomp, which to me sounds like it's debatable.
It's very debatable.
When you guys did the cast for it, we met up to record Super vs. Cosma, and I remember you telling me that like the reaction to it was like weird, and how people were like, "Oh, they voted on the wrong person" or whatever, and I'm just like, "What the fuck do you mean the wrong person?"
Well, it's just because like we posted the cast in the Lose vs. Zan chat, and the Lose vs. Zan chat used to be a lovely place of peace and prosperity, but then the Lose vs. Zan versus thread expired and got deleted, and that Lose vs. Zan versus thread was kind of like the Jupiter catching all the toxic meteorites from going into the main conversation chat. But now with that thread gone away, all the versus debate chuds went to the main chat, and now half the time it's a great discussion of why we love the matchup, and the other half of the time it's more arguments over collector scaling and what counts as a lightspeed attack and what revive should be valid and other annoying stuff.
I mean, those are valid questions, just probably done in an annoying way.
I mean, they are valid questions. The issue is it's never a discussion. It's a I'm right and every other interpretation is dumb and stupid. And I'm like, well that seems like anti-discussion. So I don't know why you're even talking. If you're so confident in your answer, then why are you even talking about it?
Lose vs. Anne was an urban legend at this point. That's funny. It's sad. I wish they would just do it.
I mean, hey, we're getting the comics for Owl House, and Amphibia's getting more content, so the anvil, the iron is no longer frozen. It's been defrosted.
So I actually skipped one. I skipped Super vs. Cosma, I guess. My bad. That would have been in here, but I guess we have talked about it a lot, so that's fine.
Go click here to add images.
No, it's okay, because then I'm going to have to find one, download it, whatever. I would probably put it around A minus because I think the actual debate is really interesting.
You think we should do
Showtime.
it?
Maybe at some point. Maybe at some point. Kazuma probably wins. Anyway, Finn and Jake versus Mordecai and Rigby. I mean, what can you really say about this that hasn't already been said?
I mean, it's fun.
It's really fun. This is another one where I feel like the debate is pretty contentious. Like Smelt said earlier, it's not about it being close, it's about what you decide to buy in terms of feats and stuff. I think most people... There's a big argument whether Mordecai and Rigby's higher stuff are outliers.
I
I feel like that's a decent conversation to have. But if you give them the higher stuff, they probably win. But if you think they're outliers, they probably lose.
I think you can argue for Finn and Jake winning even if they do have the higher stuff.
You think so?
Just because, like, they have... Maybe if you just, like... If it was, like, a fighting game where, like, Rigby and Mordecai could play, like, Batman optimally, then they'd beat Finn and Jake. But I think the issue is Finn and Jake are much more experienced and intelligent fighters. And while their powers may not be as good, I think they're comparable enough that they'd be able to counter Mordecai and Rigby and take them out.
I feel like this has to be A+ for me.
So it's not that as good for me personally. I think like it's a very, very good match. I don't think I'd put it this high if it was me though.
Let's meet middle A.
Or
High A.
I think it's good. I'd want to if I
really
was
like
to do
it.
this, I'd want to really focus on like the differences between their friendship and like kind of talk, because that's kind of like the interesting part of both is like their friendship.
We get to research friendship.
Hell yeah. Hey, Sonic versus Rainbow Dash. We'll have to research who has more layered friendship hacks.
Number 3 is Devil Artemis Cell versus SMG4.
This one did pretty good.
It did. It's your third most viewed one. Super vs. Kazuma is number 2, and that probably got bigger because Nebula was doing it at the same time. It was literally the point of it was to promo, so that makes sense. But the fact that this one came so close is really good, and that one eclipsed it is also very good. That one eclipsing it is very funny. What do you think of this? Because I'm just like, I don't really care about covering Cell in this variant. That's just kind of my opinion.
So I really like internet culture for the most part. I love YouTubers. I love the content they make. I am very biased towards this because I love covering this type of content. Like, I'd love to do like a Markiplier episode, for example. So this is very appealing to me to like a very high degree. Like probably in like the A- or A ranges, just because I would love to do this stuff. But I might just say like the lower end of A- just because the matchup itself is mostly fine. I just really like their content and would like to cover it.
You said A-.
Yeah, I'd say A-.
I'm trying to think of what the middle between A- and D is.
All right then. Well, let's do some quick math real quick. You gave it a 1 out of 10, and I gave it a
C+.
9 out of 10. So 1 plus 9 divided by 2. That's a 5. So that would be a C+, I believe.
Yep, C+.
Hey,
I was right.
right in the money.
Sorry, I was reading Smelt's comment. I got distracted. The very last one, Thomas versus Barney, which eclipsed the others in popularity.
This is a great example of a cast that is able to convince people that it's better than they thought.
The
Tomic
DB
has
cast
way...
the DB cast back in the day made it seem like the biggest stomp in the world, and I think this helps make people see that Thomas has stuff.
Yeah. Because, like, they did research on Barney, but it seems like they didn't do the same amount of research onto Thomas. Or maybe they did, and they just found the Barney stuff easier, but couldn't find the Thomas stuff in time. Maybe, I don't know. The point is, they made it seem like Thomas was not built for this, but in fact, he is built for this, as a matter of fact.
I don't know if I would ever want to personally do this, but I'm not basing it on that. I think it's fun.
I mean, the people want it.
Yeah, clearly. I'm going to defer to you on the last one, because I would probably put this around where it is now, like B+.
So, there's a couple things to consider with this matchup. It's clearly very good. It covers franchises that wouldn't be covered in any other circumstance. We're not going to do a different Barney matchup or a different matchup. The debate is interesting. The thematics are solid. By most measures, it's popular. It would get views. By most metrics, it's very good. The only reason I wouldn't put it in like the toppest of top tiers is just because they're not franchises I particularly care about, so it's weird. So it's like, if I would put it, I would say by its own metrics and how we would judge it, I would say like an A-. I would say it's maybe similar to like a Goldar versus Nappa or like a Yoshi Chocobo.
No, I like that. I like that example. I'll put it at the back of it, because I'm not putting it above Zoe versus Cece, but I like it. How are you feeling? Right. How does this look as a last inspection?
I think we should put something in F tier.
Yeah, there we go.
Actually, no, that'll get views.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Either that or Subaru Gwenpool.
All right. And how long was that? Almost 2 hours. Okay, so it was typical time.
Much less time than if you had recorded and edited it.
I know. That's the sad part. This would take me like 2 months to get out.
I am very curious how the views on this live stream will compare to the views on your edited ranking videos. What if the views are better? What if we've unlocked the secret?
I'll tell you, my original cast ranking videos were kind of like lazy boy content before I started putting like, oh, I'm gonna start taking a lot of notes and like, you know, describe things in ways where it's like I'm constantly comparing and stuff like that. The original video I made was just talking about 4 matchups. It was like 6 minutes, and it did fucking insane numbers, and I was so pissed off. And I was pissed off because like I put a lot more effort into like the reviews and stuff like that. And I was like, it felt like it wasn't like the work isn't worth it when something so easy does well. But that's not how I should think about it. So I stopped and I started putting more effort towards it.
I think the moral of the story is to not try.
And that's the message we'll leave you with today, folks. I will just you go.
I only had half a joke, so I stopped talking.
Okay. I'll just leave out being like, support the person who gave me a little thing to give them an ad. Next Berserker. The game is actually fun. I've since been told that the demo link might not work, but if it doesn't, I'll figure it out. Me and Shert will still definitely play it no matter what. I'll figure all that stuff out, and we're gonna do that on Thursday. Yeah. Thursday at same time as this, 10 a.m. He said this is totally fun. I'm not biased at all because my matchup placed high. I will be gone for the next, I think, 1 or 2 streams, for I will be out of state. Yes. But they will still do stuff without me, which includes one of the debates and the parental cast. Yeah. And then you will see me the week after that, because I'm flying in late on Tuesday, which is when the parental cast would be.
And then after the parental cast, we're revamping the live streams.
entirely revamping the live streams. We're gonna do something different.
We don't care what your matchups are anymore. We're throwing them away.
Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening in the yield month of May, and stay tuned for it. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone.